morning, number ones. Welcome back to the Celtic Commander podcast. I am your most chittering host, Madam Nájera.
Hi guys, and this is Raul, the Rat King. Well, yeah,
the Rat King.
the Rat Prince, because the king you're about to find out more
You're
about it.
about to find out the Rat King. Did you know, guys, that actually a Rat King is a real phenomenon?
Yeah,
Where like this is real. This is I'm not just like trolling you. Like rats when they are born, they like tangle their own tails together until they become like a knot, and they grow up with all tangled up by the knot,
mhm.
and like 10, I don't know the specifics of how many rats are born in a colony, or how many rats must be considered to be a rat king. But a rat king is when all those rats that got tangled as a baby, they grow up like, and they're like joined together by the tail, and there's like 10 rats together go together to like everywhere and live together and everything because they're tangled up by the tail.
Yep, it is a pretty fucked up thing, and based on that, we decided to build.
Based on that,
Based on that weird fact, we decided to build this deck, and yeah, it was
tell us the story about how you got to the idea of this deck.
well, I was at the
Oh wait,
LGS.
wait.
Yeah, what?
We forgot to mention that someone's
Ah,
missing.
true, the Rat King. No,
The artist king.
yeah, the artist king.
Victor Adame is not here with us today again
Yep,
in another deck tech
yep.
because he's at another GP. He's in GP something at the moment.
GP weird place in Europe.
Oh yeah, he's in Europe actually.
Yep.
So he's over there promoting Celtic Commander, I'm sure.
I hope so. He better be.
And I'm sure he wishes he'd be with us today to
Yeah.
be with you, number ones.
Yeah, because you're number ones. And yeah, you're about to experience something really interesting. Besides
So-
the fact about the Rat King.
So tell us the story about the how you got the idea.
Yep. So the story was that I was at the LGS, and I really liked this guy, the Swarm, Piper of the Swarm, right?
Yeah, green card.
Yep. So I wanted to do something with that guy, but I didn't want to build around Maro-naut, the standard
Maro-naut.
Maro-naut. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to build around the standard rat guy, right? And yeah, I was like, well, I like the card, but I don't know. And at the same time, I was thinking about building Korvold, the fae-cursed king, because yeah,
One of the new brawl cards.
yep, one of the extremely
Maybe
new.
gathering players.
Ask the question: should you buy rats from Dominaria? No, because they are expensive to be common. But yeah, I wanted to build around Korvold, but I didn't want to go the
traditional route.
The traditional route. Yeah, just value, sacrifice, or whatever. So yeah, all of a sudden I was like, you know what? You can. I found out about this weird enchantment that we're going to talk about in just a second. So this enchantment.
Wait. We're gonna save it. First, I think we're gonna talk about the dragon, then the rats,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the enchantment. So let us just know. We're just letting you know that this enchantment is pretty much the soul of the deck.
Yep.
Like, of course, there's other fun interaction, and actually, it's a very synergistic deck. Like, weirdly, I wouldn't have thought.
Yep.
How well it plays with itself. With two things that really don't have a lot in common.
Yeah, you don't see any. I mean, I haven't seen any Jaunt rat deck at all. But this enchantment, which is the heart of the deck that you said, is what gluing everything together, right? So first of all, of course, the commander, as I mentioned, is Korvold, the fae-cursed king. It's a legendary creature dragon novel for 2 generic, 2 black, 1 red, and 1 green. He has flying, and whenever Korvold fae-cursed king enters the battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Korvold and draw a card. So
And he's a 4/4.
yeah, and he's a 4/4. So this guy is pretty much like Victor said once, it's control Prosh.
Yeah, it's Prosh 2.0, right? Like this guy's Prosh's cousin.
Yeah, Prosh non-aggro version. But I didn't.
No, I think Prosh no combo version.
Well, you can combo with it, but yeah, it's the control version of Prosh, the mid-range version, if you will.
Mid-range Prosh.
Yeah, mid-range Prosh. So yeah, usually you just want to build around him in like value-y sacrifice things. But I discovered that you can sacrifice rats and they like in real life they will appear again and again and again and again. So this works because of this enchantment. I need to talk about it because it's what
you just want to talk about it anyway.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. It's the best card of the deck, of course. So the enchantment that we are mentioning is Bloodbond March. It's 2 generic, 1 black, 1 green, and it reads: whenever a creature spell is played, each player returns all cards with the same name as that spell from his or her graveyard to play.
Okay.
So
now let's talk about like normally. Oh, what?
With what? The same name?
Commander? Yeah. Yep. So let's talk about the card that is gonna be our target. You already know it's gonna be rats. Yeah. But it's obviously the Dominaria rats. It's Rat Colony.
Yep.
2 CMC, 1 generic, 1 black. Creature rat, 2 power, 1 toughness. Rat Colony gets +1/+0 for each other rat, not Rat Colony, for each other rat you control.
Yep.
A deck can have any number of cards named Rat Colony. Before we talk a bit about these 3 cards together, which are like the soul of the deck, how many rats do you run in the deck?
I run 25.
25 rats.
Yep.
Okay, so it's 25 rats, Korvold, and Bloodbond March.
Yep, that's the heart and soul of the deck. You can sacrifice tons of rats to get the value from Korvold and some other things in the deck, and then as soon as you play another rat from your hand, you will return each other rat from your graveyard to play. So that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, Bloodbond March is really, I don't know.
It's weird. It's super.
Weird, it's unique, but it's crazy. It's so crazy.
It is. And if you by any chance are playing against another rat player, the 2 players will get the benefit from it. So
yeah, because it says each player, but I don't think anyone else is gonna, unless you're like in kind of a mirror match or again one of those other decks that like the Shadowborn Apostle or the guys that mill, like unless it's against one of those guys, nobody else is gonna really get a lot of value.
I mean, yeah, this card has it has 0% of playing in Commander. Well, 3% because of the players of the Apostles and the Rats. But yeah, I discovered that you can get tons of value with Korvold and at the same time build a field of rats. And most importantly, I will be playing my 2 favorite cards from the set, my 4, Korvold, Piper of the Swarm, and the next card. Well, I will save that card for later because we have an agenda to fulfill.
Let's talk about these interactions a little bit first. Like, I think the Rat Colony, besides being a little bit more expensive, more cheap, a little bit cheaper than Relentless Rats.
Yep.
I think it's better because of the mana cost.
Yes.
And normally when you attack with a bunch of rats, you don't care about the toughness. So the +1/+0 is not really annoying. I mean, it's not really like whatever, right?
Yep.
What I also like for each other rat you control, because there's gonna be a lot of cards that actually put rat tokens, and the powerful thing of this deck is that the rats are as strong as the time in game, right? Like
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
not like it's not like other decks. Then after they board wipe you, you start from zero. It's really painful
mm-hmm.
because obviously because of Bloodborne March and other cards. The rats, like if you cast 3 rats in one turn because they're so cheap, well you already have
Four, four, one,
yeah,
3 4 1s.
3 4 1s. So that's good. I mean,
Mm-hmm. And this
it's
deck,
it's explosive, the deck, but because of the green in it and the Golgari, it's consistent. Like you have a lot of ways to keep recurring and stuff like that.
yep. I mean, the deck can function without the enchantment, the Bloodborne March, but you need
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
I mean, you need it. It's like your second commander. The whole deck is built around that, and yeah, if they do, I don't know, Blasphemous Act or any board wipe, you can rebuild your board just by playing one rat, and you will have, let's say, 5 rats all of a sudden. If you have haste, you can easily kill 2 players with 6/6 or 7/7 rats. And yeah, there's some fun interactions with cards that care about power because the rats grow so fast. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of uh, like you said, weird synergies that you normally don't see between rats and any other colors because uh, most of the times the rat decks are mono black, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's talk about the rest of the. I mean, first of all, the ramp because you need to have access to mana, of course, if you want to. And we have some funny cards in the ramp department that you don't normally see on junk decks, right? So the first card that I want to talk about, I think, is going to be Bontu's Monument. Um, let me search that real quick. So Bontu's Monument, it's an artifact. It's a legendary artifact. Sorry, from for 3 generic, of course, and it reads: Black creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a creature spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So this card is great here because the rats are because they reduce the mana cost. So for just 1 black, you're able to play a rat, right? And each time you play a rat, the opponent are going to lose 1 life and gain 1 life. So you just need to pay like, I don't know, 4 black for 4 rats, and you will have tons of value from it. So you don't normally see this type of enchantment on a green.
Artifact.
Sorry, yeah, artifact on a green in general deck because they're quote unquote better ways to ramp. But in here, it's super important to just pay 1 black. And I mean, the part when the opponent loses 1 life, it's cute because at the end of the day, you're playing tons and tons of creatures. Your whole deck is practically creatures, right?
And like pretty much, I don't know how many like percentage or anything, but I think almost all the creatures are black, right? Like aside from the rats,
Yep. In fact, all the creatures are black in the deck. Yep.
except from like one Eternal Witness.
Yeah, you just run one. Yeah, one Eternal Witness, and the only reason for her is to bring
To
back
take back
the
the
Bloodbond
Bloodborne March.
March. Yeah, because you need that card for sure. Um, so the rest of the ramp is pretty self-explanatory, except for that other card. You want to talk about it? The
Sorry. Oh yeah. Let me. This is kind of famous in token strategies,
Yep.
but I don't know. I'm probably sure like people in sacrifice themes decks run it, but I've seen it more in token strategies. But it fits really well in this one. So it's
Yep.
Perilious forays. It's a 5 CMC, 3 generic, 1 green, 1 green enchantment. You pay 1 generic and sacrifice a creature to search your library for a land card with a basic land type and put it into play tapped. Then shuffle your library. So this is pretty much an enchantment that you pay 1 mana, you sacrifice a creature, you draw a card because Korvold is out,
Mm-hmm.
and you look for you put a +1/+1 on Korvold, and then you look for mana.
Yep. If you have
And with
your engine running, the
yeah,
Bloodborne March, you can pretty
you
much
don't care.
sacrifice, let's say, I don't know, 3 or 4 rats. You will be drawing 4 cards and then putting 4+1/+1 counters on Korvold. And then if you have just 1 rat in your hand, you can play that and bring back your other 5 rats. So pretty much you're ramping for free. I mean, you just need to pay 1. So if you have this with Bontu's monument, you're pretty much on a good position. You're just paying 1 to ramp and then 1 to pay the rats. So it's super good in this deck. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this card is going to be run in pretty much all Korvold's builds. But in this particular rat build, Bloodborne March does wonders for you. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
think that's the edge of this deck against pretty much all other Korvold decks
Mm-hmm.
and all other rat decks.
Yep.
How easy it is to get them everything back.
Yep. I had
And I
this
think
mono black
sorry.
build. Yep. In about, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years, and the weakness of the deck was that it was so difficult to build again your board after a board wipe, and that's pretty much the issue with but mono black in general, but most in the rat build, that's difficult. But with this build, you have access to ramp and better draw, and you have the enchantment, so you can pretty much build your whole board just by playing 1 rat.
Yeah, and I think also Korvold is it's I think the rat threat is so intense that
Mm-hmm.
Korvold is ignored a little bit. So like you can make him grow and grow and grow and grow, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly Korvold is like a 10/10,
Yep.
and he just like he can just demolish anyone while everybody's scared of the rats.
Yeah.
Like he does stand there like a king watching his rat realm
Yeah.
until he decides it's enough.
Yeah, but he's pretty much an enchantment at some point. And yeah, like
Yeah.
you're saying, everyone is caring about their rats, and all of a sudden is like, well, I'm gonna hit you with just Corbold for 21, and then the rest of the rats to any other player, right? And the rats grow so fast. Like you were saying, this is a super explosive deck. If you have access to haste, you can pretty much kill 2 players very easily. If you're lucky,
So
you
for
can kill the whole table. Yeah.
yeah, so for the rest of the ramp, it's pretty basic. I mean, not in a insult way. Just
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's your regular Soul Ring, Cultivate.
Sol Ring,
Yeah.
Cultivate, Explosive Vegetation, Kodama's Reach, Arcane Signet because he comes with Korvold anyway.
Yep. The new awesome card. Yeah. Command Sphere.
Commander Sphere, you can sacrifice it.
Yeah. You will be drawing 2. And yeah, I mean
And
the rest of the and harvest season. Harvest season, like you were saying, it's. Let me read it for you. Uh, it's known for the in the token strategy, but in this deck works fine. It's a sorcery for 2 generic and 1 green, and it reads: search your library for X basic land cards, where X is the number of tapped creatures you control, and put those cards into the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. So if you're pretty much attacking the whole time because your win con uh, are the rats. I mean, there's no funny business here. No, just the rats. attacking with the rats, right? So you are ramping for 3 or 4. It depends on the time of when the harvest season comes up. But yeah, I mean, it's a good ramp. And yeah, I mean, it's not super shiny or anything, but it's 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 good.
Yeah, harvest season. I didn't expect it, but it makes sense. I think this deck feels like a token strategy, but it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't. But it has like all the benefits from a token strategy.
Yep, because you have tons of creatures on board, and yeah, I mean, you're basically playing quote unquote tokens, and you do have some token generator, but every token is a rat, of course. So let me talk about since we already talked about ramp because of the Perilious forays. Yeah. Let me talk about the fun cards in the deck.
Okay.
So I think one of the, of course, I was talking about this at the beginning. The next card is one of my favorites from Throne of Eldraine. So it is Piper of the Swarm. It is a human warlock. Warlock, eh? It's one generic, one black, and it's a 1/3. And it reads rats you control have menace. For one generic and one black and tap it, you create a 1/1 black rat creature token. And 2 and 2 black, you can tap it and sacrifice 3 rats to gain control of target creature. So, I mean, he's amazing in the deck. The fact that he gives you menace to the rats is incredible because the rats are so weak in the toughness department, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have trample or anything. So the fact that this guy gives menace, it's incredible to the rat strategy. It's what pretty much what was missing at one point. And I mean,
This card does everything the deck wants.
yep, yeah. You create the token. It's good. You don't use it that much. You can sink your mana if at the end of the turn you have that available. The funny part is 4 and tap it to sacrifice 3 rats, because you can pretty much sacrifice 3 rats, draw 3 cards, put 3+1/+1 counters on Korvold, gain control of a creature, and then play another rat to bring back the rats that you used to sacrifice, right? So you're just gaining value from everything at this point. So yeah, this effect was the part that I was interested in when I was building around Korvold. I was like, you can sacrifice, you can draw, and then have weird effects, and then have tons of rats. So yeah, like you said, this guy does everything that the deck wants.
And again, like we were super hype about this card in our like set review in our top 5 picks, and it's so cool to get it in this deck.
Yeah. It was your pick or my pick?
It was my pick.
No, yeah, yeah. We were super excited, and I think it's an excellent card to run in every. I mean, of course, every rat player is going to run it. Um,
But
and
not every Korvold player.
yeah, of course, not every Corvold.
Well,
Yeah, remember, guys, that this is Corvold. It's a John's rat strategy. So
Unless
yeah,
everybody like this strategy becomes super famous, and now
yeah.
Korvold is mainstream.
Corvold rats. It's gets banned. No. So what else? Well, we do have. You want to talk about any particular card of the list, or?
One I'm super happy about. Well, it's the most basic card in rat decks is Maro-naut.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 5 CMC, three generic, 2 black legendary creature rat rogue. It's a 2/3. All rats have fear, which is kind of like menace, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
You tap Maro-naut, sacrifice a rat to put X 1/1 black rat creature tokens into play where X is the number of rats you control. Um, Obviously, this is a very good card in the deck. It grows pretty ridiculously the power of the rat colony decks.
Yep.
Because as we know, like rat colony grows for each rat. So let's say you have 4, and this guy taps. With this guy is 5. You put 5 tokens. So every rat colony at least is gonna be like 9/9. Well, 9/1.
And again, these guys, first of all, you need to sacrifice a rat. So you are going to draw a card and then put a +1/+1 card on Korvold, and then grow your army like for 5 or 6. And then you can bring back the rats that you sacrificed if you have the enchantment. So you guys are seeing that there's weird like synergy in sacrificing rats, giving Korvold counters, drawing cards, and then bringing back the rats, right? So yeah, this guy is the standard, if you will, the basic rat commander.
Yeah.
He's so good, and the art is great, and everything about the card is great.
he's so edgy, you know.
Yeah.
Maro-naut, you know.
Yeah.
But he's so cool. Like for you guys, if you, I enjoy Warhammer. I mostly play 40k, but I know about fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy or Age of Sigmar, and there's this guy called Quick Head Taker, and it just reminds me a lot of him because he's like a super cool rat that's like a super strong warrior that kills everybody he faces. And
Yeah.
Maro-naut just, and like I like the names, right? Like it's not like, hi, my name is John the giant rat. No, it's like the Quick Head Taker, the Maro-naut.
Maro-naut.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that, so it feels kind of cool.
Yeah. What's the name in Spanish? The
Maro-naut?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it has a
Roemédulas.
Oh yeah. So it has this edgy name to it. Yeah, I was happy to build something that has tons of cards that I like individually, but now works all together, right?
Yeah, it's always cool when that happens. When you're like, oh, I always wanted to play this card, and I always wanted to play this card, and when they all like merge together.
Yeah, it's so good. And this is another card that I really like from the set, and it's so good in the deck. So let me talk about what would you say that is the pronunciation? Ajare? No.
Ayara.
Yeah, it is Ajara, first of the Lockwayne. So it's 3 black. So black. It's a legendary creature, elf noble. It's a 2/3. And whenever Ajara, first of the Lockwayne, or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And you can tap her and sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. So again, if you have the hard enchantment of the deck, the March, you can generate tons of damage. Well, life loss, right?
Yeah.
But let's say that you have the Roemédulas, the Maro-gunner in the field. So you sacrifice a rat, right? And you will be putting, let's say, 5. So Ajara will trigger, so you will gain 5 life, and the opponent will lose 5 lives. And then you can sacrifice the rest of your rat colonies to any effect that you like. And then you can play another rat from your hand. So you will be doing 1 more lost life for the rat, and then another 5. So it's not that crazy to have that play. And I'm saying 5. You can, if you have 8, you will be doing 16 at least just for playing the rats.
Like Maro-naut with Ayara alone, it's pretty crazy. I mean, you can sacrifice the creature, then sacrifice to a card, and everything just arrives because of Maro-naut's tokens, and like the synergy between these two, and let's say just one rat, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Uh, and if you have the other friend,
Your other favorite card.
the other favorite card. So pretty much at this point, all of the cards in Eldraine are my favorites, right? But if you have the other guy, Syr Konrad the Grim, it's a legendary creature, 3 generic, 2 black, and a human knight. It's a 5/4. Really? Huh. Whenever another creature dies, or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Syr Konrad the Grim deals 1 damage to each opponent. And then you can pay 1 and 1 black to each opponent puts
Each
the top.
player.
Yeah, each player puts the top card of the library into the graveyard. So Syr Konrad does everything. We mentioned this at the in the top 5 Throne of Eldraine cards. But if you have, by any chance, if you have the combination of Ajara, Syr Konrad, and Maro-naut,
Nor.
nowhere. Yeah, you will be pretty much winning the game at that point, right? You will be doing damage because of the rats entering the battlefield, but also from sacrificing them. And then check this out: if you sacrifice 5 rat colony, right, and then place 1 more rat, 5 rat colony are going to be leaving your graveyard at the same time. So you're going to to trigger Syr Konrad 5 times again. So not just from sacrificing them, but from bringing them back from the graveyard. So it's crazy interaction between those 3 cards.
Yeah. Ayara and Syr Konrad are very good in this deck. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't know. Black in Eldraine was pretty amazing. I think Syr Konrad takes the card that plays most val. I don't know, like from our top 5 cards and how we've been able to play them.
Mm-hmm.
I think Syr Konrad is one of the best cards I've played with because
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, like we were playing with Victor
Mm-hmm.
and he was like a 20 something life, and just because of simple interactions of Syr Konrad and Atreus, I
Mm-hmm.
was able to ping him back down to 3 life.
Yep. Yeah. Um, it's yeah. I mean, Syr Konrad. It's a weird effect to have because he the loss of life is generated for everything. Even if a creature, I think the only thing that doesn't trigger is discard, right? Or um,
Whenever no,
no,
even
it's
that.
even discard. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's why I was surprised that I haven't even looked at the stats. Uh, I haven't even noticed that he was a five
A
four.
5/4. Yeah,
Yeah.
he can actually punch.
Yeah, and I mean, I had this game on Monday. I mean, it was a super specific interaction, but I had Ajara and Sir Conrad, and I played the what was the name of this guy that put harpies?
The abhorrent overlord.
Yeah, Abhorrent Overlord, and I did that for 22. So Ajara was you lose 22. Okay, and then I sacrificed all of the harpies for Altar of Dementia, so I did another 22. It was crazy. um, but yeah, I mean, like you said, Sir Conrad and Ajara is super important for the deck, and I mean, of course, the can run without the March, but if you have it, it's so good. Um, I mean, of course, you have cards for those cases in which you do not have the March. I don't want to talk about it that in depth because they're, I mean, basic good cards. For example, Living Dead. Of course, you need to have it. It's a creature deck, right? Do you want me to read it or?
Yeah, let's read it. I'll read it if you
Okay.
want. Living Death, a 5 CMC, 3 generic to black, sorcery. Each player exiles all creature cards from his or her graveyard, then sacrifices all creatures he or she controls, then puts all cards he or she exiled this way onto the battlefield. In this card works great with Korvold because even if he's like he's in the battlefield when all happens, so you draw a lot of cards, right?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it's a creature-based deck, so you need to have Living Dead. Uh, I was thinking about running the Deathbridge Chant to build your graveyard, but it's not worth it that much. You will lose tons of value for the other cards. You just need to wait to build your graveyard naturally from the rats getting killed, because they are just one toughness, right? So they are going to be killed in the game.
Yeah,
But I
I
mean,
also I also thought about Deathbridge Chant, but
yeah.
yeah, in the end, because I don't know, seems like kind of you need it, but not really.
I mean, you need it if you want to go a little bit more reanimator-ish, graveyard-ish theme. I mean, but in testing, quote unquote testing, I found out that you lose tons of value. And I mean, if you play the chant and you lose the march, you need to wait until you have the witness, and you don't run any reanimator spells in the deck. So for me, it's better to wait until the graveyard is filled naturally and then play the Living Dead. And also, we have Patriach Patriach bidding, which is the same thing. Well, I mean, not the same thing. Let me read it for you. Um, so it is Patriach bidding. It's a sorcery for 3 generic and 2 black. And each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creature cards of a type chosen this way from his or her graveyard to play. So, of course, you're going to say rats. This card it's I mean, I'm not sure if I want to play it because nowadays there's a lot of tribal decks, right? And you can, I mean, in theory, you're getting more value from it because you're returning tons of rats. But if you're playing against elves or goblins or zombies, it can get tricky. So I don't know. What do you think about it?
Uh, yeah, no, yeah, it's. I like it. I mean, yeah. I mean, in the end, like like you said, you're playing all rats. Well, maybe not all rats, but a lot of rats. So it is kind of like a tribal strategy. So it works.
hmm And if you have, by any chance, if you're able to have this with the resolve this, and you have the Piper of the Swarm in play, in haste. I mean, that sounds like a fantasy dream, but no, that's not that hard to have. You will be again, if you have 7 or 8 with haste and menace, you will be doing tons and tons of damage. Um, so yeah, I mean those cards are your backup plan if you don't have the march. Um, you can go a little bit more reanimator because it works. I mean, if you're able to hit the Deadbridge Chant with 5 rats and you have the march in play, you are going to be getting you're going to have tons of value. But I don't know about that. I don't know about the rechant. So let's talk about ways to sacrifice your rats in order to have value with Korvold and also getting value with those cards. So the first card that I want to talk about, it's another one that I wanted to play with long time ago, but I um didn't have a deck for it. So the card I'm talking about is Mazirek, Kraul Dead Priest.
Oh yeah.
So it's a legendary creature insect shaman for 3 generic, 1 black and 1 green. It has flying, and whenever a player sacrifices another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and he's a 2/2. So pretty much, if you're able to sacrifice, I don't know, 3. If your rats are like 9/5, that's a real threat. And this guy cares about any player sacrificing permanents. So
right, it's whenever a player.
it's whatever a player, yeah.
So obviously it works well with Korvold because of the +1/+1 counters, and also one of a very typical card in sacrifice theme decks, which is Dictate of Erebos. Because not only do you sacrifice, everyone else sacrifices. So Mazirek with just one rotation.
Rotation? You said rotation?
With just one rotation.
No, yeah. If you're able to sacrifice any a rat with anything, and you have the dictate, your rats will grow like +4/+4, right? And remember that you can, I mean, for example, if you sacrifice your rat tokens, you can make your rat colony bigger if you have Mazirek in play, right? And I mean, it's an insect shaman, so what else do you want? I like the card so much in general.
Yeah, I also like it a lot, and I've never really found a way to play with it because I don't run a lot of sacrifice decks or a lot of I don't know.
Yeah,
I just never found a good deck for it, and it's so cool that it's in this.
Yeah, I think Mazirek it's somehow super specific because you need to run it in a sacrifice deck, but also on a creature-based deck. I mean,
that's not that hard. It's just that normally sacrifice decks are really, I don't know, very streamlined. So maybe you don't want to build a deck like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really seen Mazirek in tons of decks. I think what the Sapling guy runs this. Oh, you know what? In Grimlord, what was the name of the ugly guy?
The ugly ogre?
Yeah, Griswold.
Griswold, oh my god.
In Griswold, this Mazirek is great.
how I hated that card.
Griswold.
Like when we were testing the decks, the Commander 19 decks,
yeah.
This guy was just kind of useless.
No, but no, Griswold was doing some work. Remember, he was like a 10/10 at one point.
I don't know, but I hated it. I don't know why. I just hate Griswold. I mean, yeah, if you read it, it's not really that bad of a card. It just, I don't know, it's just dumb. I don't like it a lot at all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like the card. I like the name. I mean, the Dread Sour, but the art, man. I mean,
no, it's not bad art. I mean, you want to troll a troll shaman? I don't know. I think I don't like the. I think I don't like the part that everyone gets a plant, and you have to wait in some way for that plant to die.
I don't know. It's a good card. And with Mazirek, it's great. And I mean, I don't know, but he's not a rat, so he's not on the deck. So no Griswold, not this time.
Yeah, because he's not a rat and he's not on the deck. He's not gonna be on your screens.
No, yeah, I was thinking about putting Griswold on the regular version at one point of Korvold, but nah, that's another story. And so yeah, I have another card which I think is interesting, and you a minute ago, well, not a minute, but you were talking about that you didn't like the card. So let's talk about it. So it is Chittering Witch.
Oh.
It's a human warlock.
You're gonna
What?
me vas a evidenciar
Yeah.
en frente de los fans.
Yes.
You little snitch.
So
I said in the end that I kind of liked it. Like, yo,
no, no,
yeah,
no.
you're right.
Let me read it. So it's
Yeah.
Chittering Witch. It's a human warlock again, sub-team warlock. So it's 3 generic, 1 black. It's a 2/2, and when Chittering Witch enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 black rat creature tokens equal to the number of opponents you have. And for 1 generic, 1 black, you can sacrifice a creature, and target creature gets -2/-2. So, I think the card is good. I mean, it's not super flashy, but first of all, I like it. This is the opposite of Griswold, right? I mean, it's not the greatest card, but I like it. I don't know why.
Yeah,
The lady is like the lady of the rats. I don't know, and it's removal. That in this deck, the only quote unquote removal that you have, it's Dictate of Variables. Besides 2 other board wipes. So the removal, it's good, and also you're sacrificing creatures, so you're able to sacrifice several creatures to kill several other creatures, and then if you have the march again, you're going to rebuild your board in just by playing 1 rat, right? So tell us, Badam, why you don't like Chittering Witch?
I like it now. I mean,
Now I like it.
now, I just because we mostly tested this out and played. So my mindset is set on that. Just you, Victor, and me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Mexican standoff. So you played 4 Chittering Witch for that only gets you 2 rats.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's a lot of mana, like two mana to sacrifice a creature. When we already have like Phyrexian Tower or Altar of Dementia and all that stuff.
Yeah,
And it's not really a very good removal. Like you have to, I don't know, at least 2 rats, which means 4 mana, to really get something aggressive, right? I think it's the same thing as Goblin Bombardment. Like 1 rat for one damage. I don't. When the rat itself can deal like 5, I don't think it's viable. But then again, you're drawing cards and you're doing a lot of other stuff. So in the end, I mean, this just obviously it's not my deck. It's your deck, so you know better.
you do you.
You know, yeah, but you know what I meant, like you know better, right? So you've been testing it and stuff. So probably you kind of do need the sack outlet, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is like, of course, you prefer to hit with a 7 rat instead of sacrificing that to do 1 damage. But for example, you can hit with the rat, or I don't know, if the opponent has tons of big blockers, you can sacrifice all of your rats to do that extra damage or kill the hard creature or whatever, and just by playing 1 more rat, you can rebuild, right? So let's say that you have 5 rats, you sacrifice 5 rats, deal 5 damage, draw 5 cards, and then play 1 more rat, you will have now 6, right? So you can sacrifice 6 to draw 6 and then deal 6. So you're dealing 11 just by playing 1 rat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you need to have the correct board, but it's not that difficult. So yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, I like the card. I don't know why I like the art so much, and I like the like. This remind me of the lady in Home Alone. Remember?
The second one.
Yeah,
the pigeon
the
lady.
pigeon lady, but with rats. Like, and mi pobre angelito.
my poor angel, little angel in
my
Spanish. That's I don't know why people. Okay, so Home Alone in Spanish, well, in at least in Mexico.
In Mexico.
I don't know how they translated it in Spain, but the translation the literal translation
The
from
little
Spanish to
translation.
English, literal translation from
Uh,
Spanish to English,
yeah.
it's my poor little angel. Not Home Alone, not Solo en Casa. It's
So
my
the
poor little angel. That's how it's called in Spanish.
yeah. So we're getting this sub team of talking about the weird translations. In,
Like Chucky.
like Chucky and Child Play. So so yeah, my poor little angel. Yeah, I like the card, and it's new also. Featured in the new Brawl decks. Wow.
Is it only from the Brawl decks or is it from Throne of Eldraine?
No, it's just for the Brawl deck.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um, 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 um.
um, um, um,
Uh,
um,
okay, I think I wanna mention one. This is not like super sexy or anything, but
mhm.
I think it has to be mentioned. It's two cards. They do kind of the same. Let me just I gotta write them correctly because I don't think you did write them correctly in the
in the list.
list.
That was a test for you. I wanted to know if you knew the cards.
Okay, yeah, you don't know how to write. The first one is they both kind of do the same. It's Rhythm of the Wild. It's a 3 CMC, 1 generic, 1 red, 1 green enchantment. Creature spells you control can't be countered. That's really good. Non-token creatures you control have Riot. Riot is a keyword ability that means they enter the battlefield with your choice of a +1/+1 counter or haste. Um, we're gonna go about this a little bit, and the second one is kind of known. It's Fedbor. It's an enchantment, 3 CMC, 2 generic, 1 red. Enchantment, creatures you control have haste. That's it. So let's go back to Rhythm of the Wild. Like they both are to really like spring out the rats and reanimate all the rats that you had in the graveyard and go crazy. Like just eliminate one guy from the board.
Yep.
I think it's cool that Rhythm of the Wild that maybe if it's not like you're all in, like you cast one rat. Let's say you have 3 rats, right? You attack with them. Because you get them haste, they all die, and then after the battle phase, you can bring them all back, and then choose to put them the +1/+1 counter instead of the haste. Like
True.
That's like a nice synergy thing.
Yeah. Weirdly
Like
enough, I haven't thought about that, but yeah, it's a super good like thing to do with Rhythm of the Wild, and yeah, it's good that you have the option to do that, right?
And also, if you have both, like you can give them the +1/+1 and haste, like with Fervor and Rhythm of the Wild.
Yep. Sometimes, I mean, yeah, they do pretty much the same thing. Sometimes Rhythm is better, and sometimes Fervor is better. The part that I don't like of Rhythm is that
When is Fervor better?
when is Fervor better? Well, if you're drawing tons of cards, let's say that you don't have haste, right, at any given time, and you're drawing to find the haste, and if you play Rhythm after the rats are on the field, you will not get the haste.
Okay.
Yeah,
I get
and if
it.
you play Fervor, you will. So
Okay.
in that scenario, Rhythm is worst. But in general, it's better because you have the option, right? Yeah, I heard that you're surprised. I was surprised also because I was like, no, Rhythm is 100% better. But some guy was like, no, Rhythm need to be on the field in order to have them haste. I was like,
Yeah, that's a
oh
good
yeah,
point.
yeah. So that's why I play both, right? Because you need of course, you need to have options for the haste. You fun fact, and this is going to surprise you because this is not on the list. What? But this guy, you can play this guy as your third option of haste. And if you play this uh, with Living Dead, you can pretty much get an opponent all of the sudden. Because I don't know if I'm correct, but this is the only black source of haste.
I already know what you're talking about.
Yep. So this guy is Moggy's Marauder.
Yeah.
It's a creature, human berserker for 2 generic 1 black. It's a 2/2. And when Moggy's Marauder enters the battlefield, up to X target creatures each gain Intimidate and Haste until the end of the turn, where X is your devotion to black. So pretty much all of your rats are going to get Haste and Intimidate. So this guy was almost on the list, but to be honest, I I didn't found like space because you can't go that low on rats because the deck is about the rats, and I think 25 is a good number.
Yeah, I feel 25 is cutting it a little too low.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe probably it's the right number. It probably is the right number.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have the space, you can play this guy, and I'm glad that we talk about that. This is a weird deck to build because you need to have like a good amount of rats, enough to be functional, but you don't want to have tons and tons of rats because you don't want to draw 7 cards and get 5 rats, right? So you need to have like a good number. Uh, and for me, I think 25 is good. I will maybe I will be having 23 at some point. I don't know. It's about testing it, and it's about at one point it's about luck. But I had this one game in which I what was it was great or good? I don't know, but I draw like 5 and 4 were rats, and at that point the rats didn't. I didn't need the rat on my hand, right? So that's why that chant is good. So it's about testing it and I don't know, polish the strategy, right?
Yeah.
But the guy Moggy's Marauder, you can have it in the deck and it's great. And I mean, the only thing that we need to talk about is the draw at this point, right?
Before we go to the draw, I want to do a shout out to a weird card that doesn't really go anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
expensive. Yeah, it's doubling chant. It's a 6 CMC, 5 generic, 1 green sorcery. For each creature you control, you may search your library for a creature card with the same name as that creature. Put those cards on the battlefield, then shuffle your library.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this card is great. It's excellent on the deck. Yeah, I forgot
It's
about
kind of,
it.
it's kind of an end game card, you know, like
It
you
is.
use this and then you just go crazy.
Yep.
It's I think it's like a it's
Crater Hoof.
like no, yeah, it feels exactly. It's kind of like a crater hoof or like
Yeah.
an overrun. Like you're not really playing it for the rats you're bringing. You're playing it for the rats that are already on the field,
Mm-hmm.
like to make them do like the powerful punch.
But the rats that are entering are going to. So you're pretty much doubling your power.
Yeah.
And
Like it doesn't matter if you have haste or if the cards entering are attacking. Like obviously if they do, it's gonna be insane.
Yep.
The important part is how you double your rat's power.
Mm-hmm. If you have 5 and you don't have haste, the 5 on the field are going to get +9, right?
Yeah.
So, and like you said, if you have haste, you're winning at that point. It's a super weird card. In the same department as the March Simpson, and you recommend this card to me, and I was like, yeah, it's so good. This this card was like on the first day of the deck was on the deck. We were talking about the deck, and this card was like one of the first cards to be like, oh, okay, we can build this deck, right? It can be viable.
Yeah.
So I think it's high CMC, of course, but it's an end game card. If you're able to play this after a big march, after I don't know 8 or 9, you're winning. And if you have menace and haste, I mean, yeah, there's no way. The only thing that can stop you is a cyclonic rift, of course.
Uh,
But um, it's an excellent card, and it's fun to play because you never are able to see that card in Commander, right?
yeah.
And I mean, um, we do of course have several other cards, but there are like obvious choices like Zendikar Resurgent. I mean, if you're playing green, you're playing it. Sunbird's Invocation. If you're playing red, you're playing it.
Ogre
And
slumlord for the rats.
yeah, if you're playing rats, you're playing it. And yeah, I mean the other cards are pretty, I mean, self-explanatory. You will have the full deck list on the description. And I mean the only thing that we need to talk about is the draw. There's not really that much like super shiny or flashy cards on the draw. I would like to talk about Greater Good because I mean it's a good card, of course, but in this deck, it's I think I don't know if it's better, but I mean it's so good. So
It
Greater
feels
Good,
better.
it feels better. Yeah, Greater Good is an enchantment for 2 generic and 2 green, and it reads sacrifice a creature and draw cards equal to that sacrifice creature power. Then discard 3 cards. So of course the reason that it feels better is because the rats are huge in the attack department. So
Yeah, and also because the sacrifice deck, it's a thing, Like
yep.
we're doing this in a sacrifice deck.
Hmm.
I mean, Greater Good is good in any deck, in any green creature deck.
Yep.
So, but in a Korvold deck that grows with the rats and getting sacrificed, and the rats are already huge, like yeah, you draw a lot of cards,
Hmm. So,
and you
and
block a lot of things.
the important part, I mean, of course, the draw is the important part, but let's say that you draw like 6 with a rat plus the one for Corporal, you can pretty much, I mean, with this card, you can pretty much draw your entire deck if you have, let's say, 4 rats, and then you play another rat. You will have, if you have the March, you will have 5, right? So you can do it again and
Yeah,
again,
like
and
everybody, you gotta remember, like the Bloodbond march. It's very important in this deck.
yep. I particularly don't play that many tutors on the deck, but you should.
At
I mean,
least, a CDC.
yep.
The CDC that sacrifices. You're already doing something you want, and
Hmm.
you don't. Before I want to talk about draw cards that you don't run in the deck, but I think might be good additions.
Hmm.
So one card that's kind of like Greater Good. It's Momentous Fall. It's a 4 CMC, 2 generic, 2 green instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature. You draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power. Then you gain life equal to its toughness. Obviously, the gain life is not really relevant,
Hmm.
but it's doing the drawing cards equal to the power is the strong part. And
Yep.
like again, you draw with Korvold, you put the +1/+1, you sacrifice a rat that's gonna come back because of Bloodbond March, and Momentous Fall. You draw like let's say 5 cards. I mean, at least.
At least, and the good, I mean, the important part is that Momentous Fall, it's an instant. So whenever you're getting board wiped or something like that, you can play this and get tons of value. And I mean, yeah, you're right. It's a great card to play. To be honest, I didn't play the card because I wanted to have like um enchantment based draw.
Card draw. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm usually also like rotating into that aspect.
Uh-huh.
Um, because yeah, you don't want one ups. But I think in this deck one ups are not that bad, even because you're sacrificing with them,
Mm-hmm.
and because of the power of the rats, you draw a lot. It's like Rishkar's expertise, and also this other card, which is also you don't run it in the deck, but I think it's kind of interesting to look at.
Mm-hmm.
So Life's Legacy,
Mm-hmm. It's pretty much
one,
the same
yeah,
card as Momentous Fall, right? But in sorcery.
yeah, yeah, it's 2 CMC, 1 generic, 1 green, sorcery. As an additional cost to cast Life's Legacy, sacrifice a creature. Draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
mean, you don't gain life, but it's way cheaper. But yeah, it's a sorcery. Like
yeah,
you can do it in response to everything, to anything. Like obviously these two cards are not as good as Greater Good. Like Greater Good is it's really
it's
insane.
it's the best draw of the deck, of course. But yeah, all the besides, I mean, along with Rishkar expertise, all the cards that the power matter cards are so good in this deck because the rats at the beginning are just 2/1s, but mid game there are at least five. I mean, it can get pretty crazy at like later turns. And one of the cards that I want to talk about, it's I mean it's super basic, but it's so good in the deck, and it is Skullclamp. For one generic, of course, it's an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/-1. When equipped creature is put into a graveyard, draw 2 cards, and it has a keep of 1. Remember that the rats doesn't get any toughness bonuses. So if you have Skullclamp, all of the rats are going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's good because if you in this deck, you need the draw because you're playing tons and tons of rats, and all of a sudden your hand you will not have any card in your hand. So you need to have this type of effects that you can attack with a huge rat and then sacrifice. I mean, not sacrificing them, but skull clamping them in order to draw cards because you need. I think in this deck you need to draw more than in any other type of deck, right?
Yeah, you don't want the gas to run out.
Yep. And since you're running 25 of the same card, sometimes the draw can be difficult. Um, so you need to be explosive. You need to be aggressive, and you are able to survive the later turns, but you need to build your ramp to be good. Because I have these situations. I've been seeing these situations in which you need, I don't know, you need an answer for anything, and you draw like 5 rats. So this is the downside of the deck, of course. But the good part is that you have tons of resiliency and tons of um, power on board. And of course, you're playing rats in a Korvold commander, so you're going to be the cool guy on your table, right?
The Korvold, the king of the rats.
Yeah, the king of the rats. Instead of playing like the shark combo, right, or Shalai combo, do we imagine playing a Shalai deck but with combo? Ugh, I don't know, man. Yeah, or playing knights, 5-color knights. Who does that, right? No, play rats. Play
Yeah,
Corporal
or like
rats.
I don't know, or don't be the guy that's playing Tulane combo decks. You know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you can be the guy. You do you, but I don't know.
Im-
It's the cool points are not gonna be there.
yeah, no. Imagine
You're
being.
the guy that shows up to school with the whole complete set of utensils and you know like 5 different pencils for each kind of answer.
Yeah,
No, you want to be the guy in the skateboard with a with a leather jacket and
yeah,
black glasses.
Backwards hat.
Backwards head, yeah. You want to be the cool guy.
Yeah, imagine playing Multani. Ugh, no.
The best Voltron commander there is.
Yeah. Shout out to some guy that
A
did
famous magic artist out there.
yeah, that plays awful decks. Come on, guys. Uh, you need to tell him on the comments that he needs to be the Kraul boy again,
The
right?
Gruel boy.
Yeah. So pretty much, I mean, that's the deck. Let me talk about this card super quick because it's super important to the deck, and you mentioned it before. So it's Seasoned Past. So for 4 generic 2 green, it's a sorcery that reads return any number of cards with different converted mana cost from your graveyard to your hand. Put Season Pass on the bottom of his owner's library. So you need this to have the March back, and you can have the March back, Eternal Witness back, and I don't know, Rats or anything else. But I think this type of card this type of recursion card, it's important to the deck because you need specific pieces. So you need to have this and Eternal Witness for sure in order to being able to use the March again, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Season Pass is a good card because I mean you're gonna use it mainly for Bloodbond March,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's maybe a Bloodbond March plus a Rat plus a Season's Pass. Well, no, Season's Pass is the same as Bloodbond March. I don't know, plus a Dictator of Erebos
Mm-hmm.
or a Syr Konrad or something like. It all depends on your graveyard, right? But at least getting those two back, it's important. Like
Yeah,
a Rat and Bloodbond March.
yep. We if you're getting a rat in Bloodborne March, you're online again, right? Uh, and if you're able to play those three on the same turn, you're 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 great. you have you have a good life.
I think we forgot to mention this card in other sections, but I think it's kind of important.
Uh-huh.
It's Marine of Clan Neltoth.
Uh-huh.
It's a 4 CMC, 2 generic, 1 black, 1 green, legendary creature human shaman. It's a 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
So this card was part of a commander set that played with this thing called experience counters. So whenever another creature you control dies, you the player get an experience counter. At the beginning of your end step, choose target creature card in your graveyard. If that card's converted mana cost is less than or equal to the number of experience counters you have, return it to the battlefield. Otherwise, put it in your hand. So that's a mouthful, but it's kind of complicated, but it's really simple.
Mm-hmm. It pretty much
uh,
you bring back a rat
yeah,
at
bring back a
the
rat to your hand or to the battlefield. That's
Mhm.
it.
And again you need that type of recursion. And even if you're getting the rat to your hand, which is difficult because the rats are just 2 CMC,
Yeah,
uh, if you have the march again and you have the rat in your hand, at next turn you will have tons and tons of value. And yeah, I think Marin it's great in any sacrifice ish strategies.
obviously, Marin's best friend is Sakura Tribe Elder.
Yep.
Uh,
And I mean, the art is great. I was I was thinking about something that you said the other day, but
Sus poderes de necromancia.
está haciendo así sus poderes. Yeah. Yeah, Marin, it's great. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
That's
Of
the deck,
course,
guys.
that's the deck. See you later. No. Again, you will have the complete list on the description. So let us know if you like the deck, what would you change about the deck, and if you want to build Korvold as a basic guy. If you're basic and play Teshar and play Dockside Extortion is like 5 types on a turn, Or if you want to be the cool guy and play Korvold rats, the king of the rats, right?
Yeah, Korvold, king of rats.
Yeah. So that's pretty
Oh,
much it.
I was gonna mention something, but I forgot now.
So no.
Yeah, so no.
So let us know what you think. Let us know if you're building any of the new brawl commanders. And
Oh, speaking of brawl commanders,
Mhm.
um, so our that last deck was um my Alela deck, my Alela Fairy Anthem.
Mhm.
Uh, I just want these are the follow up guys because I saw a lot of interaction, like people saying a lot of cards that should be interesting. Of course, I think like you should do your build, and that's super cool. Like I like seeing all of you guys' responses, and I kind of like I'm taking some of ideas of it, but I'm very I'm very surprised of how Alela turned out because it's super snowbally.
Mhm.
I thought the deck was gonna be a bit more like slow and like a little bit to get value bit by bit. But no, the deck is super snowbally. By if you have like only like just three anthems, just three, Alela is unstoppable.
Yeah, we found out that you need to kill Alela tons of times.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the thing. The moment Alela hits the ground, it was an absolute target. It was an absolute target.
Yep.
And but like that was the thing. Like if people let her be in the field just like for one turn or two, it took over the game immediately. So just like a follow up, um, you gotta run protection. Like get boots on Alila or something like that.
Yeah, get something.
Yeah,
Cause
like I think boots it's a nice addition. Like obviously take the bitter blossom spot and put some boots in there, and that's it. Like like boots on Alila are really good because yeah, if she stays on the field like for just one or two turns, the snowball gets going.
And yeah, I mean, like as a follow up, the deck is good. The deck is great, and if you don't kill Alela quickly enough, you die. And side note, I hate Stolen by the Fae.
So, oh man, yeah, I had. So we were playing. Vago was playing Syr of Ashvale.
hmm
It was kind of like a standard build, right?
No, it's Voltron. The standard build is Knights.
I mean, whatever. To me, it's the same. You know, like you either go Knights or Voltron. There's
Yeah.
no other way, right? But yeah, but it was pretty cool. Like you play the hammer something.
The I don't know. Well, it's a hammer and it gives +10, +10.
It's a hammer that costs one, but the quit cost is eight. But Sir doesn't care about the cost.
Yeah.
So it's just one, and it's a 10. Well, like 13, right?
Yep.
And you just
15,
like
15.
were going insane in the board, like just destroying everything you could, and you had basic land walk. And I was like, oh my god, what I'm gonna do? What am I gonna do? Like I can't do anything against that. And I just drew Stolen by the Fae, and I had like this was late game, right? So I had a ton of mana, but this is important. I had like three anthems. At that
Mhm.
moment in time, I had like two fairies. But when I played Stolen by the Fae, sent Sir back to your hand and put on six fairy tokens. That
Mhm.
was it. That was it.
Yeah, the tokens were like huge, huge. Um, and yeah, it's a good card. It's stolen by the Fae, and I mean,
Like
yeah,
you have to save it for those big creatures that really takes turns to cast.
yep. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea that at some point we will be doing a follow-up episode about the decks, and let us know the new suggestions so we can improve the decks or change it or do even funnier interactions against each other. And yeah, I mean, I was happy with my decks pretty much, and you were happy. Victor was not happy because he was being the bad guy all night.
Yeah, like you can't play the decks that Victor was playing and say that you are living a happy life.
Yeah, no.
He
Yeah.
was just playing combos
Yeah, talk
and
talk
very
to
oppressive decks.
talk to him, guys. You're
Like
the number one, so you need to let him know that
you
he's
gotta
no
cheer
good.
him up. Go to his page and show him love because
Yep.
he's probably having a bad time in a GP in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're playing those type of decks, you're not a happy person. So
No.
talk to him, guys. Uh, let him know that you can have fun in Magic, right?
You can, yeah. You don't have to police the phone.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much the Korvold King of the Rats deck tech, and let us know again. Let us know on YouTube, on Twitter. Hit me up, follow me, um, follow Salty Commander One because you are number one, and we are number ones. So
Yeah, that's our
so.
Twitter and our YouTube. It's Salty Commander
Mhm.
podcast. I guess I don't know. I should know it. I always forget. It's my
Just
dyslexia, guys.
yeah, you just need to type Salty Commander, and we will be there with you in spirit, and also on your computer. Um, but yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for listening, and yeah, what else?
I know that's it. Thank you. Like,
Yeah.
comment, subscribe, retweets, share.
Hmm.
Um, Absolutely everything. And thanks for listening. I want you guys to show the Korvold Rats deck as much love as you did the Alela. I was so happy to see how much people reacted to the Alela deck.
Yeah. Hopefully this deck will have the same response,
Yeah,
and
tell
yeah,
us your strategies or what would you do with Korvold?
yeah. Tell us about Corval and tell us about your brawl
For example,
commanders.
like we were talking. Sorry, we were talking the other day about the Korvold Shadowborn Apostle.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like the Shadowborn Apostles sacrifice themselves on their own, so that's just crazy. Just the thing about the Shadowborn Apostle is like they're $6 a piece. So
Yeah, it's more expensive that if you build it with food chain. So, but I think that's also a viable build.
yeah.
We might have that in the oven, but you will
Do we?
do we? It's a surprise for everyone. So thank you so much, guys, and we will see you when we will see you.
See you later in the next episode, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks.
later, guys. Bye bye.